Hello everybody, welcome to Mystic Hawk Crystals, Crystal Insights. My name is Marty and I am the Rockhound shop owner of Mystic Hawk Crystals. You'll see them on Etsy, Mystic Hawk Crystals Etsy, and that's all one word by the way. Anyway, I also am a psychic medium and I tune in and listen to the crystals. So I do more than just sell crystals. I dig them myself and I list them myself. And in the process of doing this over the last 4 years, I've learned a lot about crystals. They give me a real insight. For example, 3 out of the 5 crystals that I listed had bridges and inner child crystals and cross crystals. Now the really interesting thing about this, that some of them were tabbies, some of them were double terminated, twins. It didn't matter what kind of crystal configuration it was. They all seemed to have at least a cross crystal and a bridge crystal, and often it also had an inner child crystal. Now, I started reflecting on what's going on in the world, especially here in the United States with a lot of people. A cross crystal symbolizes a crossroads. When we're at a crossroads, this is a major decision point in our lives and in these times. And it's very obvious. All you have to do is, you don't have to really watch the news or go to social media. If you're an empath, you can feel it in the air that we're at a major crossroads in the history of this world, of Earth, and especially in the history of humanity. And so we all have to make some big decisions. Now, interestingly enough, we also had bridge crystals. And bridge crystals are usually a small crystal that crosses or lays across several other crystals. If it's a large bridge crystal on a cluster, it can span across several other crystals, laying like horizontal across the other ones across their tops. But we also can have a bridge crystal, which is a smaller crystal called a barnacle crystal. The bridge crystals represents bridging gaps. It could be among opposing forces, two sides of an argument. Could even be within our own, having arguments with ourselves and needing to bridge that argument and come to a consensus so we can get back into alignment with what we really came here to do. It's also about bridging gaps. Perhaps there was I really want to be at that place in my life, but I'm right here now and I really can't see how to get to where I want to be. And these bridge crystals kind of help us to receive downloads that can give us the insights and perhaps even shift a perspective that we need in order to be able to leap over that gap or bridge over that gap, get past those old belief systems, limitations, and all these things that have been holding us back. Interesting, doesn't this sound like what's going on not only out in the world, but within a lot of ourselves, And another thing, the inner child crystals, because where do a lot of these limitations and old belief systems and hurts and wounds that cause us not to want to put ourselves out in the world, it did come from a lot of how we were raised or some of our experiences in school. I found it really interesting that we had the bridges and the crosses and the inner child crystals and a whole lot of diamond window faced crystals. Now, diamond windows are really interesting because they're portals. Now, the face of the crystal, that's where you take in all the facets. A facet's the individual side of the point of the crystal, but you put them all together and see what their face is, based on the number of sides they have. And a diamond window is a 4-sided, and it's basically called the 7th facet. Diamond window crystals are like a portal into other dimensions. And yes, we can use those to travel and meditate and do dream time with. But another thing that the crystals taught me that they're really good with is when we meditate with the diamond window crystal or ponder something while being even close to one, sometimes they can give us insights and perspectives we never thought of before. So they can bring us a shift in perspective and give us a whole different idea. In addition to connecting with connecting us with our guides and angels and loved ones from the other side. It's kind of like that window of being able to see them through the doorway in the portal, and being able to have this a way to interact across the dimensions, so to speak. So a lot of diamond window, a lot of portals, a lot of opportunities to step into new realities, to cross a threshold, to cross over a bridge. And again, crossroads. It is time to make a very major decision. Now, I did pull some cards, and I'll read them right quick. I'll try to keep this down in time to clarify this. And we got Council Fire. This is from the Sacred Path by Jamie Sams, and I really love this deck. I've been reading this one for well over 20 years now. Number 24, Council Fires. And again, you can see everybody standing around the Council Fire, and they're having a deep discussion. This could be within a group of people, or it could also be within our different selves and our different perspectives that we have. You know, our inner child has a different perspective than our inner adolescence, or than who we are now, or even than our future selves, right? So with all of them getting together and making this real major decision while at a crossroads in life. How are we going to get out of the swamp and back into the forest? How are we going to get out of this heavy, low place and back into a more fulfilling space? Now, we also have a Sacred Traveler, the Sacred Traveler on the Sacred Path. And the card that I pulled with that one is staying focused. So with all these distractions and all this crap going on and cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, it's very important that we stay focused on our mission and what we're here to do, whatever that is for you. Maybe just staying focused on being a good person and being happy and all that. So again, it's stay focused and make the good decisions that you need to make for yourself and your life. Also, perhaps if there's a group of people, you really have to have some serious focus nowadays. I think we've learned that, right? So anyway, that's all I have for Crystal Insights. Thank you, and I'll be back with some more. Welcome to Mystic Hot Crystals. May they serve you well. Blessings.